Evening, sir.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
Let's give us a second here.
For sure.
First, I'd like to welcome everybody to Conversations. Special guest, Mr. Joe Ayinde,
Hello.
lyricist, producer, actor, father.
Man, you see it? For sure.
That's a beautiful sight, man. I love seeing you doing your thing.
Thank you, man. We fresh off of bath time, man. I would have pulled up sooner, but I was rushing to get him cleaned off. You know, we had eggplant parmesan and some other stuff. He had it all over him, so we had to get that all the way together.
Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to Cons. Cons just hopped in. Man.
Cons, what up? What up, Cons? Good tag.
Yeah.
Natasha, what up? What up, sis? 13th Ted. There's a bunch of good people in here. Okay. Class, what's
Good
up, Jed? Yeah, there's some good okay. I got some kinfolk in here. That's good.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, let's take it back to what got you into this hip hop game. Like, where did it start with you?
Man, it started with me with MC Hammer. That was the one that did it for me, man. I was about 4 years old, from what I could remember, and just seeing him just dance and entertain to that particular sound. Though it wasn't liked by everybody, you know what I mean? It was like it touched me. It caught me at 4 years old,
Right.
and it made me say, "Yo, that's something that I want to get into." The way I felt off of seeing him be happy, doing his thing on stage, and then the songs, the message, and everything, it connected with me. And that's when I really, got involved with, studying the craft of even entertainment. And that's how I was really introduced to hip hop.
Okay. So then, once you start studying the craft, who did you kind of lean to as far as like technique and style that really started captivating?
Yeah, so there was layers of me studying the craft. There was the part where I thought I was studying. Well, it was me as a youngin. Mace was like, actually the first cassette tape I got was an A+ cassette tape. I don't know what happened to A+, but my sister gave that to me, and that was like the first thing I remember bumping. Like, oh, okay, there's a mature level of rap, rhythm, and poetry that's going on. So that was the first thing that like caught my ear. And then just like coming up, it was really like my first rhyme I wrote, I was 8 years old after listening to like Biggie's 10 Crack Commandments. Nah, it wasn't even 10 Crack Commandments. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard is Papa, don't hit me. No, it was that joint. And I like wrote a rhyme as an 8-year-old off of that. So like Biggie, Mace, the whole Bad Boy area, I was studying them as a teenager. What's up, man? As a teenager, it was it was like a lot of mainstream. Lil Wayne. I was heavy on Lil Wayne before everybody got on him. I loved Ludacris because of his style and the way he used his voice, everything like that. And then my boy Jordan, my boy Chemist, who I think is is my favorite MC. He we started diving into more of the underground scene. Started really diving into the Most Def and started diving into the Talibs. The nice segue into some real bars. Got into Little Brother. And I really started studying Fonte a lot. That became my favorite MC. So that conversational tone, probably being under the school of him, Kanye, people like that, definitely helped me out in studying.
I can see that. Now, this was all while you were in New York, correct?
Yup. Born and raised in New York, Long Island, North Babylon, Wyandanch area, Wyandanch, where Rakim is from. I actually grew up with some good folks. Shout out to OMFT on my free time. Shout out to them. That's Rod's family, and they grinding out there in New York too. So grew up in Long Island. Moved to Ohio when I was 24. So like most of my upbringing was out there.
Okay, so how'd you end up in Ohio? Like, what made you come to Ohio?
That's the question. That's usually the question, especially when you say, "Yeah, I'm from New York." Like, how you end up in out of all places like Nashville, Canton area? Like, how'd you end up? My dad is from there. My dad is he was born and raised in Nashville, so all my family's out in Nashville and Canton. Him and my mom met out there. So we was in New York in a 2-bedroom apartment. This is back in 2012. 2-bedroom apartment in Uniondale, Long Island, and that was $1,050. That was a steal. 2-bedroom basement apartment, and yeah, represent North Bad. And I was only making $237 a month. How we were surviving, like it was miracles off of how we were surviving. So like we couldn't do that for too long. So my dad, he's like, yo, y'all come out here, get up on your feet. And, I have a basis, I have a base out here. Y'all could come stay out here. So my dad drove out, packed us up. Came out to Ohio first. It was me, my lady, and my 2 sons living in my mom and my dad's crib, staying in one room until, I was able to get a job, get up on my feet, and get moving out there in Ohio a little bit.
Okay, that's what's up. So I'm sure you just probably just out and about networking. When did you really start jumping into this music thing for real?
Okay, man, we skipped the whole section. My teenage years, like I was talking about my boy Jordan, chemist, same person, Jordan the chemist. It's my brother, is who I named my daughter after actually. We linked up and officially in 9th grade. And, started rapping. He had some recording software. I don't think it was cool at it. I forgot exactly what it was, but we took one of his mom's stocking caps. We had a dynamic mic, and in like 3 days, we recorded like 12, 14 tracks over just like beats like World War III, Rough Riders and stuff. We made a mixtape, put that out in high school, and it was received well. We sold that mug. Like, it was popping. So my dad and his dad, they saw that we were serious about it. And they started putting money behind it. We was working on like our second mixtape or something like that. And it was like, hey, we're going to do an album. So they put the money behind, what we needed. And his dad was a mastermind, man. The way just coming from nothing and just his networking game was serious. He was just, he was that dude and put that footwork in. We ended up getting the album at, 15, 16 years old. And all of the, oh my gosh, what was that? They don't even have them no more. Music store, Tower Records. Records. It was in every Tower Records nationwide. So like, and we was on radio, South Carolina. So like, we were doing a lot of things that normal 15, 16-year-olds weren't doing. Album release party, pulling up in a limo, all of that good stuff. And in September of 2015, Jordan's father was killed. His father was killed in the Bronx, execution style, man. Wow. And that was like, it was devastating. There's no words to really describe it. It was my dad's best friend. Like, we was family. You know what I mean? Like, so that ended up happening. And of course we kept pursuing music. We actually ended up running into Kip Collins. And if you don't know who Kip Collins is, Carmen Hip Opera, if y'all saw that back in the day on MTV with Beyonce, Kip Collins did a lot of the music for that. So we ended up running into Kip Collins through my boy Jordan's cousin, and we met him. We played him the music that we were working on. He was playing us some stuff that he was working on with Jagged Edge. He had us on the phone with Atlantic, like, hey, we're going to get you a dip. Like, it was moving again. Perfect. This is wonderful. We got Kip Collins from MTV helping us. We on the phone with Atlantic. Wonderful. We about to really get it. 2 weeks later, he dies in a motorcycle accident.
Wow.
Yo. Like,
so I know you processing this like, all right, what the hell's going on?
What is going on at every time we seem to be getting somewhere? Like before Jordan's dad was killed, we were supposed to be doing a show out in Philly. Like a 4th of July, something wild. No, it wasn't 4th of July, I'm sorry, it was September. So, but it was some kind of show we were supposed to be doing out in Philly.
Like Labor Day weekend, something like that.
Something real big. And it's like every time we was getting to another level, it was just a devastating blow that happened. So, you know, Tip ended up dying on that motorcycle accident, and rest in peace to them geniuses, genius folk, man. And you know, never stopped doing music because that's what we always did. I went to college, and in college I was able to link with some real cool folk, man. Some people that are even friends till this day. Link with my boy Mark, my boy Tony, my boy Lars, everybody over at True Statement, and we just like the way it happened because I didn't know how to engineer. Our music sounded terrible back in the day. Tony, we found him. We found each other. He knew how to work Pro Tools. My boy Mark, he was learning how to make beats, and you know, we just connected a bunch of dots and started creating music. And then I found some other dudes, my boys Lars and Indigo, and they were on fire making moves and around campus doing shows. And we were in the same dorm, like minds connected, and we vibed out, started doing a bunch of music. And in 2010, put out a mixtape called No Slices. That was during the whole blog era. Like J. Cole got big and Big Sean came in. You know, Drake, you know, everything was, you know, Wale had the Back to the Future mixtape with Ninth Wonder and all that. And just, you know, some kids on the college campus with no buzz. We did 10,000 downloads in a week. And that was like, you know, how did that even happen? So, you know, at that point, we're, you know,
There you go.
you got me?
Yep.
Cool. Yo, we doing shows with BB King's in New York City, Sullivan Hall, all kinds of Nokia Theater, crazy shows and things like that. And like at this point in time, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna drop out of college because I never really wanted to go here anyway. I'm in there for sociology degree, which is like a common sense degree. So like that was the real, I think I'm serious about it moment. And then I ended up getting lost in the sauce, let out a batch of baby batter, and ended up becoming a father. Becoming a father, my daughter Jordan. And after that, it's like the religious background that I had took over. And I wasn't making music for a while. And then got married at 22. Got married at 22. We get married. We each of us have a child already. We coming into a marriage 22. We don't know what's going on. She 21. Then we have another child a year later. So it's like, what's up, Niche? So it's like a whole lot that happened, and then trying to find identity, and then looking for identity in something else. Being really, you know, and just not knowing myself, and then the feeling like I let people down, feeling like I lost my chance. There was a lot of emotions that swirled in there, and let me know if I'm talking entirely too much.
Do your thing. I want to jump in one time. I'll tell you what though. What was your coping mechanism? All right, because you dealt with death that was really close to you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all these frustrating factors in your life. What's your coping mechanism?
My coping, look, who is that? Who is that? Pass him off to his mommy. All right, we gonna. My coping mechanisms weren't anything. It's nothing healthy. The biggest struggle that I had that I thought was a struggle, the thing that I claimed as a struggle that really wasn't a struggle, was pornography. Like, especially being in church, being a PK, preacher's kid, it's like, yo, I'm damning myself to hell because of, you know, just the just sexual urges, and really not having a mentor, a big homie, anybody to really guide me and let me know, hey, this comes with marriage. This comes with being a dad. Like, there's these responsibilities. There's these things that you're going to really have to go through. And like, I didn't have that. And not a lot of people have that. Not a lot of people have somebody that open up to them about the realness of adulthood. Even taxes. Like, I ain't even know shit about taxes. I ain't even doing. Like, I mean, so my vices were like secrecy and things that I thought were habits and addictions. Like, for instance, pornography was one that was really big for me. And then like, I
It's
would,
great because a lot of people don't think you can really be addicted to porn, and that's something that's not talked about ever.
you can definitely, I mean, your body is releasing chemicals. Um, and like, it's not even just the watching of it. It's also how much you intake. It's like what you're like the other things that you're feeding yourself, what you're telling yourself. At that point in time, my self-worth is low as well. So I'm getting lost in everything. Like it's just it wasn't a safe space for me. Like I didn't find any safety in myself. So
Right.
that was that was the only thing I felt like I could control. Like, well, I know that I want this. I can go get this and make this happen for me. Cool. Like, but confiding in that too much and then not being able to communicate and express and actually speak. Yo, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling like this. Like, that's you pile that up too much, and that's when niggas get to killing themselves and
Yeah.
all kinds of things like that. So like, man, my it would be those and then music at times. Um, but having kids and then the stress of I have to provide, music ended up becoming a thing that was more so a burden. Like, oh, I have to make money with this. And then when you're not making money, especially because I'm coming from the mind state of, oh, I'm an artist and I'm nice, I should be on. And I'm not
Right.
learning the business of things. That frustration is like I'm running into a brick wall of myself. So like that was rough. It was a rough time period. But like coping, the positive coping methods, uh, terrible ass jokes, um, making beats.
Mhm.
When I'm able to write a rhyme that I'm proud of, performing was always fun, man. If I was able to hit an open mic, that
Yeah.
was, definitely a coping method. And even just convert. Like I like talking to strangers, man. Like I'm the type that if we go to a restaurant, I'm chopping with people and I'm seeing what they're about. I'm fearless when it comes to that. When it comes to like speaking with strangers, just vibing out with people, man. Like I fuck with people. I'm bashful, but I love people. I have a heart for folks.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I definitely get it. What do you feel about the pressures of being a PK? I want your perspective on that because I'm one. I'm, and it can be pressure
Yeah.
a lot, and really for me personally, it's just other people's expectations of what they think you're supposed to be.
And you answered the question for like that's it. That was it. My main thing was like, you a PK, you don't know about this, or you're a PK, you can't do this, or you're like, don't like, let's keep it away because you're the preacher's kid. That was the most annoying part. Like, nigga, I will take your girl. I will fight you. I'm just like y'all. Like that was the
Exactly.
main thing. Like that was
It's like my dad is ordained. He's the one that was called, not me.
I got y'all was born into this, man. Like that was the hardest part. And then I ain't like being like singled out. As far as the because there's benefits when you go into different churches and you a PK. There's
Right.
benefit
Yeah.
to that, man. You getting the food early. I mean, like
Everything.
every day they treating you nice. Everybody's cool. But like I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I was the type when the church function was over. I'm grabbing chairs and I'm putting stuff away. I wanted to be in the mix with the folks. Like I've always wanted to be in the mix with the folks. I've always wanted to serve. I've always wanted to help. So being elevated, especially when I didn't feel like I was anything, self-worth is low and being elevated like that fucked with me a little bit, man. So that was rough. And then that expectation of being holy and then living with it
Yeah.
24/7 and then seeing the dichotomy of it all. Like a lot of this stuff don't look like Bible. What do we like, you know what I mean? What do we
Yeah.
why are we arguing before church and then pulling up like I don't know. It's a heavy burden to carry where you gotta be perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a you like that was rough.
Yeah. I feel you 10,000% because it almost puts you in a rebellious state. Like you be like, you know what? I want to show you how normal I am. And you put some mustard on it though. You know what I'm saying? You get
It's
to
like
cussing folks out. Like I'll whoop your ass for real. Don't get it twisted.
See, now I was for some reason my imagination really like had me locked in on a lot of the beliefs that were detrimental to my personal growth. So
Mhm.
like it got to a point like when I was about to be a dad and I'm like, well, I gotta get my life right with God. I was really trying my hardest to be about that life. Like, not even try. I was doing everything I needed to do to be about that life. Still felt like I couldn't measure up, even still. But I was really trying to. I wasn't one of the super rebellious folk. Um, I always had my questions. Always had my questions. I was never a dumb nigga. And that's one of the things that my brother would tell me. He wouldn't tell me you're not a dumb nigga, but like I was never dumb. But he would say like, "Hey, y'all got too much head knowledge. You need to approach it with a heart knowledge." Like I got it, I get it, but the fact that I'm asking questions and it's deemed as wrong or it's like sketchy, like why are you asking too many questions? Or we'll understand it better
Yeah,
by and by.
it's like you're making people uncomfortable now. And they're like, don't ask that question. And that doesn't even make sense to not ask a question.
Facts. And then you got the Bible saying, come let us reason together. So like I'm supposed to be asking these questions and some things just ain't panning out. But I got to a
Yeah, you
place.
know, if y'all don't know, y'all just don't know. Say it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a big issue. People, a lot of folks in a lot of these organized religions don't like to say I don't know. I mean, it's like don't like to, because then that'll fumble the whole bag. But I mean, and that's not a slight to there's folks that's living that life and sowing great seed and doing a thing, contributing to the community, contributing to their families. More power and blessings to you. I know people like that. I know them, and I have some close friends where I would point people in their direction. Like, yo, it
Yeah.
sounds like you need to holler at my folks over here. I mean, but I mean, where I'm at in life now, like I'm just not there. I'm not there. I've I've learned too much. I've seen too much.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I just
I get it. And
yeah.
and the way I judge a church, people are like, what you doing judging the church? Because I can. But I judge a church based off of what are you doing for the community?
Period.
I
Period.
don't care. I don't care about none all the show, the bang. You got a million voice choir. Okay, cool. But what are you doing for your community? Do you even know the people that live around your church? The people that
Come
live
on
next
now.
door? That's my end game right there. You got to do something for the community. If you don't do nothing for the community, you don't matter to me.
But
Flat
here's the
out.
thing with this. I was actually discussing this the other day. When you talk about doing stuff for the community and like, people get mad at church taking tithes, whatever. Let's keep it real, it's a business. So like money has to come in to keep the lights on. Like all good and dandy, fine and dandy, cool. But if you have people that don't even know how to handle finances in their personal life, and now they're handling the finances of a bunch of other people. What do you really got? You really got the blind leading the blind. Like that money is just going to be in a perpetual cycle of
Yeah.
it's going to the money will be spent. Now I mean,
Yeah.
instead of invested, it's going to get spent. So like that's an issue. We are financially challenged intellectually, and like you put that into communities with good intent, of course, like the intent is there, but it's it's wasteful intent almost, man.
Yeah. Cause what I mean is like I like when churches feed people, actually help say senior citizens
Right,
with their prescriptions, things that people actually need done.
right.
That's where I'm kind of at with like, man, you know they hungry. A bag of groceries ain't gonna kill you.
Mm-mm. Touch them people. Touch them people. Because people remember who helped them. Like, people remember that. And, most folks want to return the favor.
Yeah. And then two, respect. Because
Mm,
once people respect you or certain pastors, you know what I'm saying? They'll run through a brick wall for you,
that's a fact. That's a
especially when they say you're a stand up person. But a lot of these guys that's in these pulpits, they rock stars nowadays. I call them rock stars.
it's a art. It's a whole culture to it, man. There's really a culture, especially if you're talking about the Black American preacher. It is a whole entire culture. It's a whole
Wow.
art for all. Yeah, like you start tuning up and like that. You tune that up, and folks start standing up. Like, that's when the spirit moves off. But that's always interesting to me, because that almost sounds like we're bringing back that ancestral tribal own. Know what I mean, like, we can't help but let that out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting to me, man.
And that's where I feel there's almost a connection with hip hop
Mm, facts.
because because when you're really speaking to the people and you got all this, because hip hop has done a lot to really educate people
For
and
sure.
bring about self-awareness. And I think once the powers that be started to understand, okay, these people are becoming Afrocentric, they're starting to read, they're starting to
Mm,
learn, they're
yeah.
starting to figure this out. Hold up, let's throw in some NWA. Let's
Yeah, yep. A little COINTELPRO kind of, yeah, a little bit. Man, we got a couple hits out of the deal, but yeah, not and and they were self destruction. We're headed for self destruction.
Yeah, that's why the X clans and the KRS ones really, I ain't gonna say they didn't last, they didn't thrive.
Mm. They got lost in
They really
capitalism. They lost in the
ain't
shuffle.
that it. Ain't that it.
Rough, man.
Now now your music, you your music, you have very emotional hip hop. It's very thought provoking. It's like kind of like a lot of your posts. You really spit what's really on your mind. Like you don't do like a lot of guys and just spit. I'm going to just talk about this. I feel like to me, you spit. This is what I'm feeling at the moment. Right?
If I if
Wrong?
I
Am
if
I?
I did that, they might burn me at the stake. Honestly, like if I actually did, woo, but not like as far as yeah, it mirrors. There's not. I'm not playing a character. There's no character. I never liked talking about what I didn't have. I probably should have did it more. Maybe would have manifested some things by accident. But I've never, no, never been into a person. I've never been a person that was like really about rapping. Like, oh, I got this bag. I got this. I got this. I got that. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, cause then somebody gonna test you. Like, somebody gonna pull your card, and then what? And then what? So I just always wanted to avoid that. So it's usually whatever's on my mind, and that's the easiest way to find subject matter, because it's right there in my head. I just pull that out and write about it. So usually I'm in deep thought. I'm definitely super analytical, over analytical at times. Um, heavy thinker. Very sarcastic. So that definitely plays into everything, man. And
Yeah.
I laugh at myself too, so it makes it much easier to write. So yeah, man, it's a mirror.
Now tell me about this latest project. Actually, it's like a part two that you and Cons
Yeah,
put
man.
together.
Get that mug, man. I mean, I've been doing a couple push-ups, so I made sure that for this interview, my chest was out. Now, yeah, Planes 2, Where to Now. It's the second installment in we'll say the Planes series between myself and Cons, who is my favorite producer. He can make I haven't heard him make one bad beat in any kind of like any sound. He does it like the way he works is phenomenal. Um, and thankfully through friendship we were finally able to collaborate creatively.
Mm,
So we put out Planes in February of 2020, right before the like right before the pandemic like really got crazy. And that was a 30-minute ride of the essence of hip hop, in my opinion. It was it had a lot of like monetary principles in there, self growth, self care, self help kind of principles. Cause that's what I was going through, like a phase of finding myself and working
right.
on working on building my self esteem and my confidence up. So that's what happened in a lot of that content. Got some great joints on there. Blueface Jesus, one of my favorites on there.
Yeah.
Um, Elixir Part Two, I love that joint. The message on that is amazing. Another song, That Ass, is a wonderful love song, regardless of the title. Um, and another song, Therapy, where I was able to do what you were talking about and really like get in front of that mirror and rap. So Planes 1 did that now, and Planes 2, it was, hey, let's build on that and really see how we can expand the sound. And we did just that. Made a phenomenal album that dropped July 31st, available everywhere. Hit the link in my bio for that. Planes 2, Where to Now. Hit me up for a shirt too, man. You got these on deck.
Okay, okay. I definitely have to do that. Now, this Jadakiss situation. How did how did that hold up.
Money come and go. Besides that, I live and pray. You can tell I'm the shit I give away. A young man's game, but what is young man saying? You ask me, young man is in the booth playing. Hit your block up, then I spit off. The roll more than 16 to get my shit off. They forgot about the craftsmanship. You need bars, baby, swag's only half the shit. Yeah, boy, you should know Jada mastered it. Just like I'ma pump past this shit.
And that a Jadakiss laughed to this, like, we so strong, I almost crashed the whip. And that's why I roll solo. When I roll solos unallowed, cause I am not a pacifist. And now niggas blasting this. They used to be D-block groupies by the way they gave ass to kiss. I've outlasted the fads of the hazardous. And now the bars that hazardous. Turn a new page, now I'm getting booked. I've out-chaptered shit. I am internal doubts Lazarus. No cap, y'all niggas is need an etiquette class. You know I'm rich by the woman that's in my life. I got an elegant cast. That's no poly shit. Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, gonna have this queued. I was like, gonna have this queued up. For those that don't know, that's Jadakiss and Joe Ayinde. How did that happen?
Man, the good folks over at the Bars app, available on iPhone right now. If you have an iPhone, search Get Bars. It'll be a yellow emblem with a black B. And man, my boy Justin Chase from Ken, he put me, man. He saw like an ad for them when they were in their beta testing phase, and he told me about it. I said, hey, let's try it out. We'll try it out, because I think this is around the time we was working on Planes too. So I'm like, we try whatever. So I got on there, and it's a bunch of beats on camera. You could write on the screen, and you just record to these beats, and it's like it's great for singers, rappers, poets, like all of that. It's just a dope app. Being pushed by Facebook, and just being consistent on there, and getting cool with a lot of the folks on there and building rapport. And then they launched, and then they kept growing, and they kept growing. So they partnered with Mickey Fax before I know they got a partnership with Revolt, so they got a couple things going. But they did this one challenge with Jadakiss, so they have this feature on the app that allows you to cipher. So you could pick a beat, rap to it, leave some space. Somebody could jump on and rap to it. That's how you got the split screen thing going on. So Jada did 4 different challenges, 4 different beats. The beat that I hopped on, I ended up winning that challenge. It's probably like this. I forgot how many people joined in on that mug, but it was a lot of people. It was definitely a lot of folks. So I'm honored to be chosen out of as many, and there's some crazy dope spitters on that app too. Super dope MCs on that app. But thankfully I walked out with the belt on that. And Jadakiss posted me on his page, man. He selected my verse, posted me on the page out of all them folks, and man, and they had me on the front cover of the joint, man. I said, yeah, that works. That works, baby.
I'm gonna tell you something I know about you. You're a low-key beast for real. And what I'm saying is, like, when I listen to your albums and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You spit and do your thing. But, okay, when you do like your little freestyles and things like that, you bring that aggression. You get a little more aggressive. I be like, Joe really want to eat something. For real.
That's yeah, man. I'm inspired. Honestly, like when you got people in your camp like Nicasso, when you got people like Scientific, you got your Khans, your D Youngs, you got I mean, everybody that's on the Bars app. You got Jason. Like I have people around me that really rap, and if you slouch, yeah, they gonna take your head off. So like just seeing that, and I've always been I know how to collaborate. I know how to bring something to life, make add my sauce and make it sound bigger. And I think it was Scientific that told me. He was like, "Yo, you gotta start chewing niggas' heads off." And so that was like maybe last month or two ago, and since then, it's like I'm really I'm chewing niggas head, like I'm going to get it. I'm gonna make something happen. So I mean that's the headspace I'm in. I'm around a lot of dope artists, a lot of inspiring MCs that really keep me on my toes, man.
Yeah, you gotta stick out your chest out a little more on it,
man. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna start doing it a little bit, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like I say, when you be kicking the freestyles and stuff like that, you inbox me, I was like, ooh. I was like, okay, I'll see what he on. I'll see what he on.
It's a little razzle dazzle, man. Just a little bit.
Man, how's fatherhood treating you?
It's a beautiful battle. More beautiful than it's even. Ooh, Jesus. I love it though. Like I honestly love it, man. It's like a few things that I'm good at, and that happens to be one of those things that like I'm honestly good at, that I could pat myself on the back about. Like my kids, they like me. I mean that's always good. Like my kids like me, and I'm still dad. You know what I mean, I'm still dad. I still get on them, but they still rock with me, and they'll still want to stay home with dad and kick it with me and stuff like that. So I love fatherhood. It's a great teacher. It'll let you see so many things about yourself. Woo, my Jesus. So many things about yourself. What's up, man?
Because I had seen something you posted, stay-at-home dad. And I thought about that. And I was like, it takes a certain level of patience. I remember there's been spurts where I've had my children back in the day, like for extended periods of time. And it's like, okay, y'all can go home.
Yeah, nah, this different.
Especially that all the time, and like you got to be special to do that, because first of all, like you have to have a gift of nurturing.
Nah. Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men don't. It's not a fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of men just aren't really nurturers. Now, do you feel that was something you picked up, or does it come natural to you?
um, I feel like I picked it up. I picked it up as a youngin though, cause like my mom, we got a close relationship, and my mom, I remember like my mom would always tell me, you know, if you could hold your mom's hand in public, women will see that, and they'll like that, and she always taught me to be affectionate. She was always affectionate and never shied away from that. So and even my dad wasn't stone cold. Like my dad would tell me that he loved me when he was around. And I'm not saying that like he was an absent dad. He worked like 16-hour days. My dad worked. Um
Right. He
so
from that era where dad was gone,
yeah,
home, gone, home.
period. Yeah, that's like he did that. Is one thing. My dad definitely a provider, like period.
Yeah.
He's a provider. So my mom was home most of the time, so being around her, my grandma was in the house too, and my family. I got a loving family. Man, my aunts, my aunts, even my uncles, we all loving folk. We like to feed people. We like to make people laugh. So showing that side, like that's, I guess, it's second nature, but it was picked up as well because it's like, well, what was I missing as a kid? Um,
Right.
and I missed those conversations with my dad. Like I loved the times as a child when I was able to lay on my dad and fall asleep. I love that. Like those are some of my fondest memories is my dad coming home from work and me being able to hug and embrace him, or him acting like he was ticklish when I would try. You know what I mean? Like those are fond memories of mine. So being able to provide that to my kids, even go above and beyond, and just breaking down a lot of the a lot of the male ego, masculinity issues that would stop me from being nurturing. Now I mean, not stop me from being a man, but stop me from like I kiss my kids. I'm not kissing my kids on the lips or anything like that, but I'm like I'm going to show my children this my kids. Like I'm showing my
Make
kids
them, make
affection.
them feel loved and
Yeah,
affection.
facts. Like I walked into school every day to the door. Come here, we dap up, we hug, and kiss. Like all, like I'm showing my like, and people gonna know, yo, this dad loves his kids. So that's another layer of protection. Like dad's around and dad is involved. Dad is here. That's like that's just it, man. And I'm curious to see what kind of human beings they're going to be, being able to have a dad that's around to show them love, but also give them that discipline as well, because that's something that not a lot of people get. And it's tiring. This shit is stressful. Like I'm still I'm still a man that was brought up in Western society. So like there's a lot of stuff that like I don't feel like doing this shit. Like why am I doing this? And then dealing with being a stay-at-home dad and the issue of, well, I'm not the primary provider right now. Like that shit that messes with me. That messes with me.
Really?
So going through that, yeah, cycle like that messes with me. That definitely it messes with me to an extent, for sure.
Because
Because
you kind of feel like I should be
the
the kid.
role, there's the role, and it's like I'm not against women doing their thing. Like you, I said it in that rhyme. Like I'm rich by the women that's in my life. I got an elegant cast, like no polish. The women in my life inspire me. Like I love to see women get it, succeed, be bosses, and all of that. So it has nothing to do with that. It's more so me still being under the dealing with the roles. the role issues of, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, you're a boy, you play with these soldier toys right here. Like, you're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I was told I'm supposed to do. And I saw my dad do it my whole life. So if I'm
Right.
not doing it, then something's off. But seeing the bigger picture, because this was, when I think back on it, like, this is part of the plan that, we actually set up. This is something that, I was working, and while I was working to put my wife through college, through nursing school. Like, this was part of the plan to level up and everything like that. So, like, it's hard. It's a struggle. It's a big struggle, especially being with a 1 year old. Like, bro, and I'm down here in Atlanta. I ain't really got no friends down here. I'll be in the crib with the kids by myself. I don't be socializing with no other adults really. So, like, nigga, my head be hurting. I be stressed out, ready to cry in this mug, man. Cause it's daddy, crying. I'm changing diapers. Like, I need a break. A job, like, yeah, damn, give me some construction boots and a hard hat. Let me do something, nigga.
Yeah.
But
Something up.
but I mean, it's like the blessing of it is really like I have this time, and y'all, everybody on here, hold me accountable, man, and definitely please, like, hold me accountable to this time that I have where I am home, and it's just me and the children for 14 hours of the day. That is uninterrupted time that I have to really see what I pour into myself and really pour into them. Like, down the line, this time frame is going to be telling as far as how their lives go, because this is a time of pouring into, it's time of input. Like, what am I putting into them? And if I'm constantly stressed out and I'm looking, I'm stuck, like, oh, I need to be doing this, then I'm not pouring, for one, the right energy into them, and I'm clearly not
Right.
taking in anything that is beneficial to my spirit. So, like, snapping out of that and just seeing the benefit, the blessing in this, because ain't no good and bad. It's a bunch of good. It's really a bunch of good. And anything that increases you, your character, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, it's good. Even if it hurts, it's good. You know what I mean? Like, it's a time I can look at this and I can see the opportunity in it, and I welcome it because I like progression. I like what it feels like to grow. I like to grow
Right.
as a human being. I like to grow as a man. I like to I like the feeling of being able to challenge myself now and see how far I could really take this, because I feel like I'm supposed to be a very dope human being. And once I really start walking in that, a lot of people around me, a lot of lives, not even around me, a lot of lives are going to be drastically affected in a very positive way. So I'm after it at this point, man.
Well, from what I see, you're walking in it very well.
Oh, thank you.
Um, I appreciate your transparency, not even just, through our conversation, but just like even on your social media platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really pay things attention anymore to agree or disagree, but just kind of understand, like, okay, I see where his mind is at. I think people get too caught up in trying to debate things,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? And then you can't really enjoy the essence of a person if you're too busy trying to correct their opinion or whatever,
come on
you
now,
know?
you ooh, got to preach. See, I hear the PK. You see, you can't stifle that. It's in you. Nah.
Yeah. But, and from the time we, got to know it, you've been a stand-up dude. You know what
Thank
I'm
you.
saying? And I appreciate everything you've done, music, um, just your approach to fatherhood. I think people can at least get an idea or have an understanding, or even, a brother or gentleman that's in your shoes might struggle with it the same
Mm,
way you do. Like, as far as the role, and just really come to grips that, you know what, this is the plan, keep it moving, because
right.
at the end of the day, it's all about the betterment of the babies.
That's a fact.
which is gonna make for a better society. To hell with throwing them, because and it ain't even just meant like there's a lot of parents that just throw their kids in front of a TV, a phone, and leave them in the corner, and they're not. Something's getting poured into them, but it ain't what they're supposed to be pouring into them.
That's a fact. As a young parent, that's something that we was falling victim to too. Like that's something that I had to learn as well. Like you can't just TV. There you go. I need a breather. Like nah, you gotta pour in. Like you gotta interact. You
Yeah,
have to because everything else is going to. Everything else is going to. You
yeah,
can't stop the interactions with everything else. So you have to make yourself prominent. It's really not like the kid ain't gonna respect the role. Like they see you there, but they really ain't gonna respect the role unless you putting in that work and showing them like, yo, I'm here for you. I'm really in this. We in this together, and I got you. So
and worst case scenario nowadays, if they really need a distraction, give them some old school Lego blocks. Let them build and
and
tinker.
they love it. They love it.
You give them about 5 cardboard boxes from some packages. Like here, build something.
Yeah, man. My kids like to read and make music. So like I'm thankfully I don't I mean TV's still a thing, iPads like it's always gonna be a thing going
Yeah,
forward. It's this new world.
just
Um
gotta monitor it.
yeah, facts.
Don't let them overdose on it. Don't let
Because
them.
it's addictive. It's definitely addictive. That's a
My
fact.
man. Any shout outs, man? Any shout outs?
My boy Jordan that I was talking about, he just pulled up in here. Actually, man, shout out to you, Jordan. Man, you run this live back, man. You're always part of my story, bro. you can't avoid being part of my story. But shout out to man, Flint Hustle, Pretty P, join my boy Siddick, um, Funky Town, my G. Shout out to you, Al Mecca, man. You like since I've met you, likewise, you've been stand up. You've always offered advice. You've always had sound word. You've always filled that role as somebody that's like, look, I'm here, and greatly appreciate you. Definitely honor you as a pioneer for the area that you're in hip hop, and definitely honor you as somebody who came before us and knows the culture. Thank you for paving the way. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, man. Sentimental.
I can't
All right,
help
check
it,
that
man.
shit
I
out.
can't help it. My bad, man. I
No,
can't.
that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to I'm gonna have to get down there sometime.
Hey,
When I
man.
touch down the ATL, I'll definitely hit you up.
There's a lot of black excellence down here. It's nice when you get out here. It's real cool.
Yeah, one of my dudes, Bug, he be down there a lot. He part of the hip hop fraternity
Nice.
thing that be going on down there with Pimp and Ken and whatnot.
I think I saw something. Somebody sent me something about that.
That's something you should check out while you're down there.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I need
It's,
to.
it's, it's a nice networking type deal because it's not just um, rappers. It's also producers, engineers, video editors. They covering all. He talk business. It's definitely something
Oh
worth.
yeah. I need to get in there and network with some good folk down here. There's some folk I know I need to connect with that I haven't connected with down here as of yet. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. You said the hip hop fraternity?
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
I'll,
definitely gonna
I'll
check
I'll
that out.
send you the link and I'll hook you up with my man Book.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great for sure.
All right. Thank you for your time, my brother.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, it's been a long time coming, and the timing was perfect.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that worked out. That worked out great, man. Thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
being there. Anybody listening, Where To Now is out right now, streaming everywhere. Phenomenal album, best album of 2021 in my opinion. Hit the link in my bio to take a listen. Good hygiene, baby.
All right.
Sturman,
Y'all
shout
heard
out
it.
to Sturman. I'm sorry, I got to shout out to Sturman.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's definitely he's with the Bars app. Good, just a all around good individual. So shout out to Sturman with the Bars app and the good folks over there. So yeah, my bad. If anybody, I'm let me.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'll holler at you in a little bit, my brother.
All right, for sure.
All right, peace.